Welcome to my channel, guys. My name is Tolu. If you're new here, I'm a Christian dating coach and I specialize in showing single Christian women how to go from single to married in a year. So I just came back from the gym and I wanted to share with you all how to deal with meeting men you're not attracted to. As always, let me know where y'all are tuning in from. If you want to work with me one-on-one to go from single to married in a year, make sure you click the link in my bio and first tap to apply, or click the pinned link to apply. I'll look at your application. If you're the right fit, we'll hop on a call and I'll be able to give you a very simple plan to help you go from single to married within a year. So let's talk about this. You're meeting men that you're not attracted to. A couple of reasons why this is happening are, firstly, you're probably not meeting enough men. And the reason I say this is it could be a quantity problem. So ask yourself, how often do you meet men in the first place? Do you meet men frequently? And by frequently, I mean, do you come in contact with men that you actually have conversations with daily, weekly, or is it more spaced out? Do you meet men every other month? Do you meet men every other year? Because the more spaced out it is, the more likely you're just not meeting enough men. So what I like to do with my clients is naturally increase the frequency with which they're meeting men, because that will naturally translate to more options and more opportunities to meet the kind of men that you're excited about. So if you're not meeting enough men, it just means that we need to increase the frequency with which you meet men. And when I work with clients one-on-one, this is the work I do. I help them to increase the frequency with which they meet men so that it's easier for them to meet the kind of men that they can commit to and the kind of men they can get excited about. And it's also easier for men that are actually interested in the kind of women they are to come in contact with them. So it could just be a simple problem of we need to increase the frequency with which you meet men. Secondly, another reason, if you're not meeting men that you're attracted to, it could be that you're not positioning yourself in a way that is attractive to the kind of man you want. So, for example, if you want a man that's financially stable, are you financially stable yourself? If you want a man that is highly educated, very exposed, are you exposed yourself? Do you frequent places that he usually goes? Do you put yourself in environments, in communities, in networks that he is likely to be involved in? So that just means you need to work on that aspect of your social life. Increase the visibility around spaces that the kind of man you want will be in. So part of the work I do with my clients, on this end of the scale, is making sure that where they are frequenting is going to naturally create opportunities for them to meet the kind of men they want. So it could be at their workplace, it could be at church. I just like to take stock of how my clients live their lives to see how natural opportunities are presenting themselves that they may not have even been aware of in the first place, to increase the likelihood of them meeting the kind of men that they can get excited about and the kind of men that they can actually connect with. So that's another thing you want to take into consideration. If you're not meeting men that you're attracted to, something else you want to consider is what about them exactly isn't attractive to you. If it's always something to do with physical, maybe the way they present themselves physically, then your problem is you're talking to men you're not physically attracted to. You just need to stop doing that. If it's more to do with how they carry themselves emotionally, maybe they're emotionally underdeveloped, you probably need to do a better job of vetting. So what that means basically is you need to do a better job of qualifying. And now we're on the qualifying end of the scale. We're dealing with quantity now. Basically, qualifying is going to be the problem here. You need to do a better job of qualifying the men you give your time and attention to. This is where, the skill of knowing how men think, knowing how men relate, being able to have conversations with men that give you a lot more information than he's actually telling you will come into play. Knowing how to quantify the weight of the information he's giving you. In other words, knowing how to place value on certain things he's saying and he's not saying. That will help a lot. So that's what happens if maybe you meet a guy you're physically attracted to, but on an emotional scale, it's lacking. Maybe he's lacking in intelligence. He's just lacking in the way he thinks. He's lacking in the way he expresses himself. Then you need to work on how you vet men. If it's a spiritual disparity, then you just need to get better at hearing God faster. And learning to pay attention to what the Lord is telling you. So what I like to do with my clients is really tune their spiritual their spiritual thermometer. So basically how they hear from God, how they communicate with the Holy Spirit, how they are able to translate messages that God is trying to communicate with them, so that they are able to move faster and it's simpler for them to receive whatever God is trying to give them without having to go through the entire process of spending 6 months with a man that God already said in the first month is not the right fit, right? So you just need to get faster at that. So that's what qualifying men looks like. And part of the work that we do together when we work on your dating strategy is really making sure, is your problem quantity or quality? Are you struggling with the quality of men? Or is it really just the quantity of men that you're coming in contact with that needs to change? Or, another thing to take into consideration is, how is your value being positioned in such a way that will naturally attract the kind of man you want? Because if you're meeting a huge number of men, or you're meeting men very frequently, it doesn't have to be both. It can be one. In other words, you may be meeting men very frequently. Maybe you meet men, I don't know, every other day. Or you meet men within, I don't know, a 3-month timeline, you meet like 7 men or whatever. I'm just trying to give you guys, examples here. Don't by any means take those numbers as concrete standards, right? So you just want to focus on, is that your problem? Because if it is, we just need to work on your visibility. You just need to be moving faster with the frequency with which you come in contact with men. Or you need to pay attention to where are the spaces in which that you're meeting men, and how can you increase the probability of the kind of men you meet being in those spaces. So that's what needs to be worked on there. But if it's a problem of the quality of men you're meeting, it's probably to do with the way you're choosing the men you're giving your attention to. So it's either, you're connecting with the wrong men, or you're entering into relationships with men we both know you're not attracted to. And it could also potentially be that you're actually committing to men you're not attracted to, which will even take more of your time and effort than is required. And by committing, it's not just boyfriend, girlfriend. I mean, like, you're spending months with that man, and we both know you're not interested in him. So if you don't meet men you're attracted to, those are some things you want to think about. If you have any questions for me, drop it in the question box. I got a question I asked on my stories that you guys should ask me your question. So I got a question about what to wear on the first date. And the truth is, it really depends on where you're going for the first date. Are you going to a restaurant? Are you going to, I don't know, cinema? Are you going to a play? Are you going to, I don't know, to an arcade? It really depends. Are you going bowling? It really depends on where you're going on the first date. The truth is, for the first date, you want to look good. You want to reflect your style. You want to wear something that makes you feel comfortable and confident. You want to smell nice. Of course, you always want to smell nice, but especially when you're on dates, you want to smell nice. You just want to take extra care with making sure that you're presenting yourself in a way that makes you comfortable and makes you feel at ease in your feminine, so that he can experience you at your highest self. Right? The first date is not the time to be wearing something that you're not comfortable or confident in, or that dress that's too tight or that doesn't fit anymore, or wearing heels that you can barely walk in. You don't want to be doing that, because those are things that are naturally going to make you feel less confident and less comfortable. But yeah, that's the question I got. Do we have any questions from what I've said so far? I'll be glad to answer. But yeah, if you're meeting men you're not attracted to, it's really just a question of looking at how you attract men, what you need to adjust in the way in which you attract men, and where you need to make some changes. It could be the conversations that you're having that needs to adjust. It could be the way you present yourself. Are you presenting yourself in a way that highlights your physical features? Are you comfortably making eye contact with men? Are you able to navigate conversations and situations where you can talk to men freely and frequently without feeling self-conscious? Are you getting too attached in the dating process? Because I don't think enough focus is being paid attention to when it comes to how you, by simply being, your emotional state and your level of confidence, how much that affects the kind of men you attract. Because you have a scent, whether you like it or not. And when I say a scent, I mean you are giving off an aura, an impression when people meet you. So if you're struggling with self-confidence, you're going to attract men that are drawn to women that are struggling with self-confidence, which will usually be men that are emotionally immature, men that are emotionally abusive, men that enjoy manipulating and gaslighting, because they will be drawn to women that are insecure based on the fact that they can take advantage of that. But if you're working in your confidence, you're working in your level of certainty and focus, you'll be able to flag that nonsense very quickly. I always say you can't control who you attract, but you can definitely control who you entertain. So ask yourself, the men that you're meeting that you're not attracted to, how long do you entertain them for? That would also be very telling as to what you're available for. If you're entertaining a man we both know you're not interested in for months, that there is the problem. You need to stop entertaining men that you're not interested in so that you actually have room to attract men that you're excited about, that you can be interested in, and you can actually start to see men that are also interested in you, and both of you are not lacking in interest in each other, because that's actually what should be going on to be able to potentially get into a healthy relationship. There has to be a mutual level of interest around the same things. So a man could be interested in you simply because he wants to have sex with you, or he could be interested in you because he's genuinely seeing you as somebody he wants to build a life with. On your end, you could be interested in him just because of the way he makes you feel, or you could be interested in him because not only does he make you feel good, but you actually are attracted to him and you do see a future with him. You want both ends of that attraction to be facing the same direction so that you naturally increase the likelihood of being in a committed relationship with that person and getting married. So when I'm working with my clients, that's the work I do to make sure that you are not entertaining men that you're not attracted to. I'd really much rather you weren't talking to anyone, and we can really focus on increasing your visibility. In other words, the way where men are seeing you in the right places, and working on your energetic impression. So what I mean by that is how people perceive you, and specifically how men perceive you when they come in contact with you without even saying a word to you. So that when you are naturally visible to the kind of men you want, your value speaks without you having to say a word, and it just translates into luxury dating experiences, a man being very intentional in his pursuit, wanting to commit to you, and naturally stepping into marriage. Okay, so I don't see any questions. I just wanted to share this quick live on if you're not meeting men you're not attracted to. If you're meeting men you're not attracted to, then your problem is you need to work on the kind and quality and caliber of men that you're meeting. You could be you need to maybe work on your frequency, the men that you entertain. And another thing that I see you guys do that is a major mistake is entertaining men that are not attracted to you simply because you're attracted to them. That also is not your husband, okay? So what I mean by that is you could find a guy attractive and he's literally not attracted to you, but he's using you for a purpose. He may be using you for financial support. He may be using you for sexual pleasure. He may be using you for emotional support. He just likes to talk. That's what I mean by emotional support. But he's not interested, and how you know he's not interested is nothing is happening. And by nothing is happening, I mean the relationship isn't progressing. He's not asking to take you on dates. He's not asking to commit to you. He's not making plans with you. So he's definitely not attracted to you, but he's using you. Okay. So there's a difference there as well. You don't want to be entertaining that kind of man. I'm seeing a question about where can you find men? You find men where you find people. You can find men everywhere. The problem here isn't men are not a product. You don't go to a grocery store to buy men. They are a person. So you can meet people everywhere. You can meet men walking down the street. Literally just look out your window, you will see guys. You can meet people walking down the street. You can meet men, at a conference, at work, at church. My clients meet men everywhere because the truth is they are people. They are literally they're literally the other gender. So if you are thinking that way, then your problem probably, and I'm not saying this with certainty because I don't know your story, but if you're thinking that way, probably you're just not meeting enough men. So that just means you need to increase the frequency with which you meet men. So either work on how you show up to places or create opportunities to meet men online. or do both, that's what I encourage my clients to do, and that's how they naturally come in contact with men and how they get into relationships and eventually get married. So that's pretty much what needs to be worked on. Do we have any other questions? Do you guys have any questions for me? I'll just give you all a minute. But yeah, let me know if this was helpful. Meeting men is not really a problem. What I'm more interested in is if you're meeting men you're not attracted to. So if you're not meeting men at all, it's very simple. You need to work on where people can actually see you. So if you're not meeting men at all, it probably means you're just not, you probably aren't somebody that has a lot of, you don't come in contact with a lot of people in general. It's not a men problem. You're just not coming in contact with a lot of people in general. So you just naturally need to increase how people can meet you. That's all. I'm more interested in if you're not meeting men you're not attracted to, because like I've explained, that has to do with more, that would determine more about how far along you are in your dating journey. So clearly, if you're not meeting men you're not attracted to, then that means that you are not meeting men you can marry, which means you're not meeting your husband, which is why I'm more interested in that. My focus will be on meeting men you are attracted to and increasing the probability of that happening by creating the space for that to happen, by not entertaining men you don't find interesting, and tweaking, troubleshooting. That's what I do with my clients on how, you can increase the probability and frequency with which you meet men you are actually attracted to and you can build a future with. Okay? Any questions? I told him smoking for me is a red flag. And he continues to smoke. What does that mean? It means he's a smoker and you need to accept that or not. It's really simple. Another thing you can't do is change a man. Take him the way he is, because that's as good as it's going to get, So what I mean by that is he will get better or he might get worse. We don't know. But what we know for a fact is this is who he is. So it's either that works for you or it doesn't work for you. That's just it. You can't control your guy. If a guy wants to do something, he will do it. This is literally part of what I help my clients understand, because it's like somebody coming up to you and telling you to drop your habits. But that's your habit. That's who you are. You're not going to drop it just because somebody mentioned it. It has to be a personal decision. You could decide, you know what? I don't want to smoke again. I want to be somebody that is taking a different direction when it comes to my health and how I spend my time. And you work on that. That is how it applies with guys. Okay. So you don't want to be in a situation where a man is doing things you don't like and you are trying to convince him to do things you do like. It's not going to work. Even when he likes you as a person, it will not change. Okay? So even when he likes you as a person, he will get better as a person. Just like, I don't know, if you have a goal, I'm trying to think of an example that I can give you guys here to really explain this in better detail. If you have a goal, maybe you want to run a marathon. So that means you're going to change your diet for a while. You're probably going to take up some more fitness habits, be more disciplined with the way you carry, you eat, you exercise, until that marathon is done. But once that marathon is done, it's done. You don't have to keep eating that way. But if you decide long term that you want to take your fitness in a different direction, that's a lifelong journey. Because your body is inevitably going to change with time. You don't have the body you had when you were in your teenage years, in your 20s. You definitely don't have it in your 30s, and for sure in your 40s, 50s. Your body will naturally change over time. It's the same thing with guys, okay? He may really like you as a person and decide, okay, fine, for now I'm going to try this thing. But the truth is, he hasn't made that personal decision. He's just going to try because you're a marathon. He's thinking, he's looking at you as a goal. Like, okay, maybe when I get in a let me do this till I get in a relationship with this person. If he's making that decision by himself as a lifelong journey, that's a different conversation. So don't think along the lines of how much he likes you based on what he's willing to do. That is a habit. So a habit is a completely different determinant when you're trying to figure out how much a man likes you. However, the way a man acts towards you will tell you if he likes you or not. So what I'm saying is you're looking at a completely different thing, because I saw a response about he doesn't like you, and that's not true. That's not necessarily a determinant of that. He just doesn't want to stop. Um I can't understand this question, but I'll do my best. When you come across someone famous online, how do you date them? As it seems they cannot have some details due to their celebrity status. Listen, those are all excuses. If he's interested in you, he will date you. Doesn't have anything to do with the celebrity status. Celebrities are dating people every day. He's promised to meet in person when he is free. He doesn't want to see you. It's really that simple, sis. It's not. That's like a man. That's like a man telling you, "I'm working. I'm so busy with work. I'll see you when I'm free." Being a celebrity is not a different category. It's a job. Okay, so if he wants to see you, he'll see you. If he doesn't want to see you, he won't see you. It's really that simple. There's nothing there to figure out. So yeah, you guys just need to stop making excuses for guys. If he's interested in you, you will know. If he's not, you'll just be confused. You'll be left with more questions than answers. You want to focus on dating men that are attracted to you and that you are attracted to. Like I said earlier, those are the two things that will be required for you to get into a relationship that actually leads to marriage. So when I'm working with my clients, that's what I focus on. Making sure that they are dating men that they can marry because those men want to marry them. Okay, I'm not spending time trying to show them how to change a man's mind, because that's literally not possible. Or trying to, convince them that a man will eventually like them when they're in the wrong relationship. I work instead on getting you out of that relationship to make sure that you have room to actually get into a relationship leading to marriage, okay? Awesome. So, do we have any other questions? But yeah, so I'll just talk a bit about how it is meant to look like when you're actually in a healthy relationship. You guys meet, you talk, you go on dates. He asks you for exclusivity. You all get into an exclusive relationship. He proposes, you get married. That's it. That's all. Okay? So if that isn't what you're experiencing, then you're not heading towards marriage. It's really that simple. So that's what I show my clients how to do. Meet men. They're excited about men that are excited about them. Go on dates. They're excited about. Get into a relationship. Get engaged. And get married. That's why it happens in 12 months with my clients, between meeting men and getting married. Because they're dating with that very intentional path. Right? So if you want to work with me one-on-one and you want to change the way you're dating because your dating pattern is not working for you, you've been trying it, it's not working, you want to try things differently, you want to do it in a different way to actually get the result of marriage, then make sure to click the link in my bio and first tap to apply to work with me one-on-one. I'll be working with you very closely for 6 months with calls and WhatsApp support to make sure that you get into the right relationship that will lead to marriage, and that's how I help my clients achieve that result. So do we have any other questions? I think I've answered every question right here. But yeah, this was fun, guys. So I'll talk to you again soon. Have a lovely day. Bye.